never fails to surprise me how these circumcisionists who claim to call themselves submitters manage to justify circumcision as part of the Quran. And they equate that to the units of contact prayer, saying that it's not mentioned, just like the units of contact prayer, just like the 2.5% of charity and the steps of Hajj, yet they equate them as in the same category as those practices given to Abraham. Now, ironically, why they use that, they say that the reason why it's not mentioned, first of all, is because they were purified. Now, the question is Salat mentioned in the Quran? The answer is yes. Is Zakat mentioned in the Quran? The answer is yes. Is Hajj mentioned in the Quran? The answer is yes. Is fasting mentioned in the Quran? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant mention Salat? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant mention Zakat? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant mention fasting? The answer is yes. Hajj? Yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant explain the number of units of the contact prayer? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant explain the steps of Hajj? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant mention the percentage of charity? The answer is yes. Okay. Did the Messenger of the Covenant provide the mathematical proof for Salat? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant provide the mathematical proof for Zakat? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant provide the mathematical proof for fasting? The answer is yes. Did the Messenger of the Covenant provide the mathematical proof for Hajj? The answer is yes. But the answer for circumcision to all of these questions is no. Now, the Messenger of the Covenant did not mention circumcision. He did not mention the details of circumcision. He did not explain the mathematical proof for circumcision. He did not say at one place in any of the footnotes or any of the appendices that circumcision was a practice given to Abraham. The Quran didn't say anywhere that the circumcision was a practice given to the Messenger of the Covenant. Yet, ironically, these circumcisionists, idol worshippers, are promoting that as part of submission. And this is so deceptive. And their whole premise that it's not mentioned by the messenger is based on the fact that he didn't say anything about it. It's not based on the fact that he didn't say anything about it. I mean, which is weird. Like, he didn't mention that it's part of the practices. They don't see that. But he didn't say that it's not, so they use that. That's a stupid argument. They're presuming it, because he didn't mention it, they're presuming it. It's because, not because it's not part of it, but because it's part of it. It's like, I tell you to do something, I tell you to do 4 things, and then I don't tell you to do 5th thing, and you go and do it. I'm like, why do you do it? And you say, well, you told me to do these 4 things, but you didn't say not to do the 5th thing, so I went ahead and did it. How stupid is that argument, right? And it's based on their idea, this lie, that circumcision is accepted by all Muslims unanimously, which is a lie. And it's based on another lie, that circumcision has never been changed from the way it was being practiced according to their flawed delusional logic, which is not true either. Because circumcision has more variations than anything you can see in the Islamic world or in the, other scriptures. There's people, like I said, there's people, sucking the male genital of the baby when they're born, the blood of the baby. That wasn't mentioned anywhere to be corrected, unlike other things that should have been corrected, right? The messenger doesn't say it's wrong, so you do it, right? Because Quran didn't say it, the messenger didn't say it, so based on this logic, you do it. But they don't, obviously. Also, female circumcision, 80% of the women in Egypt, where the Messenger of the Covenant was from, are circumcised by the age of 21 or 22. And they use it, the same justification, a medical and Islamic, they still use the same logic to say it's clean, blah, blah, blah. and as part of Islam, and they mention how these promote it. And the messenger didn't say anything about it. So because the messenger didn't say anything about it, they should be following it, but they don't. Right? And on top of that, they're saying that, after such a big contradiction, they're saying that it's not been changed. Now, there is so much dispute. The things that were disputed were mentioned in the Quran at least. And there's so much dispute that some people say, some groups say, some Islamic schools of thought, there's no unanimous consensus among them. Some say it's necessary, some say it's not necessary, some say it's only for women, some say it's only for men, some say, okay, the Jews say it's on the 8th day, the Muslims say whatever, there's so many variations. There's so much chaos, and it's not mentioned anywhere to do it, and these idiots come out and try to prove to people that the messenger didn't mention it even once in any of the videos, in any of the footnotes, in anywhere in the Quran, that circumcision is a practice given to Abraham, because apparently it's one of those magical things in their delusional mind that was never changed. If that's not a lie, I don't know what is. But that is to me that is insanity. In a beautiful religion that God has purified now by sending a clarifying messenger, is being corrupted by people calling themselves submitters and promoting these lies against God and His messenger. God says, who's more evil than those who promote such lies and attribute them to God?
Then I will go on to the preparation for the contact prayers, which is called Wudu, or ablution. And of course, my sources are always the Quran. There's only one source, and it is this book right here, the Quran. God's message to you, to me, and to the whole world. This is God's final message to the world, and this is our source, the only source. We do not see the details of how many units per prayer and these kind of details. We do not find it in the Quran, although the Quran is complete, perfect, and fully detailed. So the reason the details of the contact prayers are not in the Quran is because they were already in existence when the Quran was revealed. I can tell you to go and buy Crest toothpaste, and I don't have to explain to you what Crest toothpaste is, because Crest is already in existence. All you need to do is go out in the market and buy it. And when the Quran came down, the contact prayers, the salat, were already in existence. And this is exactly why in one of the very early surahs, surah number 73, Al-Muzammil, we see the commandment to observe the contact prayers and the zakat, because they were already in existence. Abraham, being the founder of Islam, what did he contribute to the religion? He contributed all the practices of the religion. The contact prayer, the zakat, charity, the fasting of Ramadan. In fact, we see that the fasting of Ramadan was slightly modified in the Quran, in surah number 2, verse 187. Also, Hajj. Hajj, in surah number 22, we see that it is directly decreed through the Prophet Abraham. So Abraham contributed all practices in Islam. You must correct that impression. All practices of worship in Islam, without exception, are designed to cause the soul, the real person, the real you, to grow and develop. They are all designed to make you the boss over your body. A lot of people, in fact the majority of people, are enslaved to their body, their outer garment that is temporary. Someday this garment is going to vanish, and you, the real person, will remain forever, for eternity. So most people, unfortunately, are unaware of nourishing and strengthening and developing their soul, the real person. But all practices of worship in Islam are designed to cause the soul to grow and develop, nourish the soul. And you know something? All the Imams of Sunni and Shia, all of them unanimously agreed that this mentioning of Muhammad and his family, Abraham and his family, while sitting down in the contact prayers is not an obligatory part of the prayers. You heard me right. Unanimously, they agreed that this is just a desirable, they think, a desirable part. But it is not. It actually kills your contact prayer, makes it useless, and actually does harm to you. And of course, my sources are always the Quran. There's only one source, and it is this book right here, the Quran. God's message to you, to me, and to the whole world. This is God's final message to the world, and this is our source, the only source.